This is a Wolfcut Taper. I think it's pretty awesome, this style of haircut. So when my client asked me to do this for him today, I definitely was excited for this. So we're gonna see if I get as close to this as possible for my client. Stay tuned for the rest of the video to find out how I did. But so during this client consultation, he didn't want to go as short on the taper. He didn't want to go skin, so we ended up doing a shadow taper, which basically you keep stubble at the bottom and then fade up into the top. So I basically went with a number 1, fading from his beard up into the taper. And I mentioned it afterwards, after the cut. I let him know that I think that a skin taper would have just brought this haircut to the next level. I think it would have added that pop that it was kind of missing. But it still turned out really good anyway. I just, I think adding that extra little something would have just made this haircut. But I think he was still happy with it at the end. And this isn't going to be a tutorial or anything. I'm not going to go over like the steps of this haircut. You guys can just watch along and see the process, and then at the end you'll be able to see the final results. I just want to come on here and kind of talk about the experience because it's a little bit different than my normal kind of haircut. So I'm doing these free YouTube haircuts just so I have content to post for you guys. So I posted on my local neighborhood app asking if anybody wanted a free haircut, but they had to come on YouTube. And he hit me up. He was asking about the free haircuts, and I was like, yeah man, let's do it. And he showed me the Wolfcut Taper, and I was like, for sure, let's go for it. I love doing creative styles like this. You get a lot done with just a basic bald fade comb over or something like that, but once you have something that you can actually like go into and style yourself and just be a little bit more creative, I love doing that type of stuff. So I definitely was excited for this hairstyle. And with that said, this is kind of new for me. I really want to focus on my YouTube content and just having content for you guys, so you guys can watch and learn and appreciate barbering like I do. So just putting myself out there and asking for giving free cuts so people can come and be on YouTube is just a blessing, man. And I was really appreciated that he reached out so quickly and that I could get this done for you guys. Like I said, I think I liked the haircut. There was a little bit of struggles, not gonna lie, when I was doing this cut. It's not like I haven't done wolf cuts or mullets before. This one was just a little bit more difficult because his hair was so thick, especially in the back. And the tapers and mullets that I was usually doing was curly hair. So his hair is actually really pretty straight. So it was a little bit difficult when cutting, especially in the back. And I never have issues cutting the top of the head, but whenever it comes to the back and being that long and bulky, I struggle. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best at using shears when it comes to the back. There's definitely something I gotta work towards and just get over. I know what I'm doing in the back. It's not that, it's just the fact that there's so much bulk and so much length back there. I kind of get lost when grabbing my sections and then trying to find my guideline. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted to. I think it still turned out pretty good and textured and everything, but I probably would have done it a different way. I just got to figure out a way to be able to cut the back better. Like I said, when it comes to guidelines and following my guideline and everything on the top, it's nothing for me. I can do that all day long, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the angle that you have to hold the guidelines in the back of the head, but it just confuses me, especially when you're going from short, like as in the taper, and then you're trying to flow it into the back. It gets a little bit difficult for me just trying to figure out where my hand grips are and how to hold that hair. But it comes with learning. I'll get better as time goes on and I get a little bit more of these haircuts, but I just am grateful for the experience that he can just come sit in my chair and I can get that done for him. Especially being able to do something that I don't normally do. Like, I don't have a lot of clients that get these types of haircuts. Most of the clients I have either come get like a textured fringe, a crop, or like a comb over. So doing something like this and adding to my arsenal of haircuts, my haircutting experience, I just really appreciate it, because I don't want to be a one-dimensional barber. I don't want to just be doing bald fades or doing comb overs, just gentlemen's haircuts. I want to be able to cut anybody and everybody that comes sits in my chair, no matter the hair texture, no matter the style, no matter the length. Now, with that being said about the length, I don't typically like doing long haircuts, like long hair trims. I think that people should go to like a salon for that. I'm not trying to do long hair trims like feminine style haircuts. It's just not for me. I like doing short men style haircuts, mullets, tapers, fades, short style, and even if a little bit longer, like man buns and stuff, that's fine with me. But like doing super long length haircuts, it's just not my shtick. But anyways, going off of that, yeah, I want to be able to cut anybody and everybody that walks in my chair, and I want to be able to just cut everybody. I don't want to turn anybody away. If you sit in my chair, I want to be able to make sure I can get the job done. So doing these types of haircuts and getting out of my comfort zone, I love it. So I can learn. It's all about learning and just learning and improving your process and improving your skills. So anything that helps me do that, I'm grateful for it. And I don't know if you could tell during the haircut, I didn't use my typical guidelines like I teach you guys in my tutorials. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out some of my tutorials. I have a bunch posted up, so go check those out if you want to know the process that I do. But usually I use guidelines and then I fade those out. Since we weren't going all the way bald, I didn't really have to use guidelines. I just used my clipper and my cards and just blended everything out. I didn't set in guidelines and then take those out. I just kind of blended it naturally because it's a bit easier that way. You don't really have to go through your guideline process if the hair isn't going all the way from bulk all the way down to skin. It's not that drastic, so it's way easier to blend out that way if it's longer like that. So I didn't have to focus on my guidelines. I could blend it out pretty easily, but the majority of this haircut was just trimming everything. Like I said earlier, trimming the top is no problem for me. And this is a little bit different than a mullet anyway. The Wolfcut, this kind of style, he wanted to keep the curtains and he wanted to keep the length. Usually when you're doing a mullet, you're cutting the top pretty short compared to the back, but he wanted to keep those curtains in that middle part. So I trim the top, but kind of to that shape of the curtains. I don't really trim it with the rest of the back. Now the back, I trimmed a bit just to add more shape. He wanted a lot of length and bulk still in the back, so I didn't end up cutting a whole bunch off, but I just wanted to make sure that the shaping was good and that I had enough texture. So if he wants to style it, he can easily style it. But I'm telling you, I set in this middle guideline when I was cutting it, and it was fine. It was good. I felt really comfortable with that. But as we started moving to each side, that's where I got lost trying to pull out the hair and find my guideline, because his hair was just so long and thick. It was just confusing me a little bit, and it's just something about that angle, holding the hair that way. It just throws me off. It should be the same as doing the top, but I think one of the biggest issues for me is that the hair doesn't want to stay separated. It just wants to fall backwards. With the top, you can kind of push the hair aside, and so where your guideline and the section that you're pulling out. With the hair in the back, it just wants to fall down and lay down, going towards his neck area. You can't really push it out of the way, so trying to grab hair is just confusing me a little bit. I will get better at this, as time goes on and I get more of these types of haircuts. I will improve, and I just gotta focus on getting those cuts done. But I don't want to lie and say that I'm the best at everything, because I'm definitely not. When it comes to shear work in the back, I struggle. I just got to keep working at it. But I think the haircut still came out good in the end. I think he liked it. He got me information. If he wants to come back, I'd love to have him back in the chair so I can get this even more perfected. I don't know about you guys too, if you guys are new at cutting or if you've been in the game for a minute. I feel like for everybody, it takes a while for you to learn someone's hair. Since it was my first time cutting his hair, I don't know how his hair is going to react. So, you get better and better with repetition. So if you have a client that's been coming to you for a good couple months, you kind of know his hair, you know how his hair is going to act, you know what you can and can't do. So this was a learning process for me because it was my first time cutting his hair. So it was just something that I had to do. You're not going to get it right away majority of the times. It's just a learning process. So I'm grateful that he sat through this and worked with me, and I really do hope that he liked the haircut. He seemed happy about it at the end. Like I said, I think he looked way better afterwards. He just looked way cleaner. The style was there, the shape was there, and I enjoyed it. It just took a little bit longer than I was anticipating. It took me about an hour and 15, somewhere around there. I wish it was a bit faster, but I didn't want to mess up his hair at all since it was a first time client. So I took my time, just making sure that I got it as perfect as possible. And you'll see at the end, hopefully you guys agree that it does look pretty close to what he asked for, minus that skin taper. If I would have done the skin taper, I think it would have looked way closer, and then maybe taken off a bit more weight off of the back so that when I used my styling powder, it really would have brought that texture out. I should have went back in the back and just went through it with my texturizing shears, taking off a bit of the bulk, because it was just laying a bit heavy. I didn't go back in after I trimmed the back. That just comes with doing these types of cuts and just making sure that you separate yourself from the other barbers. I should have went back in, added some texture using either point cutting or using my thinning shears, because it was laying pretty heavy in the back. So after I styled it, your clients want to style it afterwards anyway, so they're gonna push the hair how they want it styled on a regular basis. So he did that, and then the hair was just laying flat in the back. It didn't have as much texture as what I thought it was going to. So that's on me. I definitely should have allowed for that. I should have went back and added more texture, but it is what it is. You can't go back now, and you can only learn from that. The next time that you do it, at least you'll know better, and you can get that as perfect as possible. But I really did enjoy the experience, man. We had good conversation, and that's what it's all about. That's why I love being a barber. No matter who sits in your chair, you never know what they're going through or what they have going on with their life, what they do, who they are, and just getting to know people like that is just amazing to me. It's just amazing, man. You'll have all kinds of walks of life, and it just adds to your experience. It adds to the overall experience, not only in your chair, but just getting to know somebody new. It just adds to that life experience, man. You can't ask for more than that. He is actually a college student, but he also has a side business doing detailing cars, man, and that's a hustle. That's a hustle. I'm not I can't knock anybody that does that, because it's hard work. It's hard work. And he was talking about it, and we had some deep conversations. If that took off, would he drop school and then focus on that? Just stuff like that. And it was, we had some good conversation. I love that. I love having deep conversations, which you're not always going to get with clients who sit in your chair. Some people, you're kind of their therapist, and other people, they just want the cut to relax, get away from everyday life, and just sit there and relax. And they won't really actually talk to you, but they kind of feel like comfortable in that space. So whatever you do, if you have a client that sits in your chair, just give them the best experience possible at the end of the day, because they need it. They need to get that break away from the hustle and bustle of regular life, and that's why they come to you, so they can not only feel confident and feel better about themselves when they leave the chair, but in the chair, they're not going to be judged. They can just be themselves. They can relax, do all that kinds of stuff. So I love my job. I love this industry, man, and I can't wait till I can be able to do this full time, so I can have even more experiences. But just doing this, I love the experience, man. And doing it for YouTube, since I'm trying to focus on this, I couldn't ask for more. I really want to do this, not for like monetary values or anything. I'm going to post if I'm going to post, even if it gets 0 views. I don't really care. I'm pretty passionate about this. And if I can just help that one person figure out how to cut hair, you know, show them the beauties of the barber industry, and making connections with your clients. If they can just take something from that and feel good about it, then I've done my job. But anyways, you guys can see how this hair is turning out, how the style is turning out. I take my diffuser hair dryer just to add some bounce to the back of the head, add some texture. And then you'll see me going in, and I saw like a bulky area that I wasn't too happy with, so I went back in and used some point cutting, trying to get that not as heavy. And then I used the texture powder to really get this going, but like I said, it was still laying a bit too heavy, so all the texture didn't come out. But I'm pretty sure he was still happy with the cut at the end of the day. So this is the final look. You guys can see what I was going for, and hopefully you guys can agree that it looks pretty close to what he asked for. If you guys agree with me, I think that bald taper would have looked better for this cut, but we still cleaned it, we got the job done, and he's leaving, you know, better than what he came in looking like. So that's all you can ask for. As long as your client's happy, that's all that matters. But this is the cut. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all the support. But it's your boy Pico.Blurred. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Oh my god, is that Pico.Blurred?